Welcome to the Leela Life Show, where prosperity meets well-being. I am your host, Linda Andrews, and as always, it is an honor to be with you. Thanks for being here. So today, I want to share with you some thoughts about what you and many people around you may be feeling right now. The build up into the new year, but something isn't fully clicking, and that may be your energy. You're feeling like you want clarity, momentum, you wish you knew the direction, and at the same time, there may be elements of scattered, tired, foggy, and the pressure to figure everything out. And so today I want to share with you whether you're using this for clarity or just using this to ground and support yourself, just a little process that'll be an energy first approach to clarity. So, have you ever had this feeling where you're just so desperate for clarity and then that's creating pressure, and then the pressure is creating the feeling of overwhelm, chaos, confusion, which may then feel further from clarity. And so when that pressure to figure it out, pressure to evoke vision creates that tightening within yourself, that's when you are not in that receptive space to then receive insight. And so, adrenaline, urgency, self criticism, that is not your recipe for clarity. And yet, that can often be on that default mode. And especially right now, I talk about this and I know everyone celebrates the holidays in different ways, but there can just be a baked in pressure this time of year that can also be a part of this. And so it's like, all right, I'm bringing in the new year. I want this vision to be perfect. I got to have it ready for Jan 1, right? But remembering, in some of the other calendar years, we may be experiencing the beginning of the new year energetically closer into March. And if you're not into astrology, that's fine. It's just maybe something to think about. What if you gave yourself the first 3 months of the year to get that momentum and that clarity really locked in and the actions to reflect that versus right now, the feeling of you know, getting everything perfect right now when that may not even be fully possible, maybe ever, right? Perfect right now. I like to use perfect. Sometimes it's like it's good enough, it's perfect interchangeably. So forgive me there. But anyway, so the more overwhelmed you're feeling, the more your intuition becomes unavailable, typically what I see. And so that regulation, that self-regulation, you finding your nervous system calm, this is when you're more deeply connected within yourself and intuition then is firing. So here we are talking about vision, talking about clarity going into the new year, and then very quickly forcing it gets into that confusion, not the direction. And so, what if clarity is something you allow, the more spaciousness that you can allow right now into your system, into your life, into your well being, into your being well? The more space that you can create, the more the clarity then has the room to come in. All right. So stick with that, be with that. We're going to do some of our gratitude breath today, embedded into this overall process so you can use your own way. And so I like future casting. I sometimes can see so clearly down the road, and then what I get sometimes stuck in is all the little actions to get to this very clear moment in the future. And so I've also heard it where I can't see anything. I can just know the right next action to take. That feels like a more practical set of tools in your day to day. But I know each way, the grass is always greener. So if you can think about future casting as a way to be listening forward, also noticing the role of fear, not planning from fear. And so it's like checking the fear at the door. I think fear can be a helpful tool in informing and risk mitigation of what else to be aware of. But in this process, planning forward, keeping the fear out of this as much as possible. One question that can really open things up for you, and this could be a new question for you, who are you becoming? And I like this question because this vision that you're stepping into will mean that you are becoming a different version of yourself. And so when the vision feels 1, 5, 10, 20 years down the road and somewhat inaccessible, the who are you becoming? You have some sense of the vision, you have ideas about the vision, and then who are you becoming? You're becoming the person that can access that vision, that can be that vision. And then those steps become more obtainable in each day in terms of aligned action goes, because literally, who are you becoming? You're becoming the person that's stepping into that future outcome. And what is that next right action? It is a little bit more clear. So who are you becoming? Who am I becoming? What is wanting to emerge next? I like this. What is wanting to emerge next? Because there is a sometimes little nudge coming from yourself, some little inclinations. You have an idea, whatever is unfolding, whatever is in that future forecasting, that vision, that future casting is not probably fully unknown. You have some clues about that. And what we're really looking for in all of these processes is for you to have room in your inner vision, your inner wisdom, and these external pressures, these external resources, these external relationships that there's just a little bit more space. Love it when it's all aligned, but sometimes there's these pieces in place that are not fully aligned. And as you're stepping into this, who you are becoming, what's emerging next, what is that vision, you're actually going to have to make some changes. And so if the external pressure is not part of the future vision, and yet that's the loudest voice, that is a recipe for misalignment. So again, in all of this, the clarity is coming from your alignment, not your urgency. And I know what it feels like to be in a time and a place where something feels very urgent or there is a lot of fear or it's like, I need to fix this yesterday. It's just a baked in sense of urgency. That is part of this calming your nervous system, quieting everything down for a little bit, again, to get that space. And then it's again, just like checking the fear at the door is checking the urgency at the door, which the urgency, again, is very much part of fear. So, what about a gentle visioning process where you're tuning into the direction your life is already pointing you, guiding you, and it's just everything in there is aching, asking you to listen, asking you to give whatever that is the most time, attention, energy, and money. All right, so let's do your energy check. All right. You can do this with me in real time. You can pause and come back to it. This is here to serve you, and it is absolutely an honor. So, first, and you can call this your clarity energy check, your clarity energy alignment check. Not to think of ourselves as cars, but your car is driving better when you're in alignment, and so are you. So, first, just starting out here, noticing your current state. You're feeling tension. Are you feeling ease? Is your body feeling contracted? Are you feeling the openness? Just noticing. There could be a myriad of in-betweens of what I just shared. So where are you at? And you can even notice specific parts in your body that may be holding extra tension, noticing, no judgment, no changing, and just noticing, all right? Step one. Step two, if you would join me, we're going to do our 3 rounds of gratitude breathing, inhaling for 4, exhaling for 6. This exhale and inhale, this is the time to create the space and to allow this softening to continue. So please join me if you want to close your eyes and make yourself 10% more comfortable. Taking a big inhale and exhale on your own time here. And moving into this gentle inhale on the 4 count and exhaling 6 count. Inhaling for the 4 count and exhaling for the 6 count. And next inhale for the 4 count, bringing your heart brain coherence with gratitude here, imagining your whole entire body system is filled with gratitude. And exhaling. And if you want to continue that on for a few more rounds, you can, or just allowing yourself to settle into this moment. And now you're just checking in. This is not a heavy thinking question, the next few questions I'm asking you. If you want to journal and write a few notes down, you can, or just listen. What you're in a receptive state now and you're listening beyond your brain, what your body's signaling, what your intuition signaling. What is the simplest next step for me? Asking yourself that, allowing room and space for whatever is coming through to come through. What is one thing that is calling for my attention? What do I want more of in my life next year? Allowing yourself to listen for direction, not detail. This could be words, images, a feeling, a theme, a pull, a nudge, a tug. Just listening here. And then lastly, anchoring this, you can say the word, the sentence, anchor this by one word, one sentence, anchoring whatever it is coming through for you into form. So from insight to form through the act of writing and speaking or writing or both. And so when you're feeling foggy, when you're feeling overwhelmed, this is a easy, simple way. It's just less than 5 minutes to get yourself into your inner direction. All right. So energy is clear. Now, time to open up more. You have some direction. You have something that came through. And when you have some ideas around direction, then it's time to take this deeper into more structure, into more action, into the tangible. And so crafting the vision from that, pulling out the priorities, from that creating those commitments, from that breaking it down to steps. And I look at those steps, these as your inputs for your outcomes. And so if you think of your vision as a number of outcomes that you'd like to be experiencing, right? There are certain outputs that are generated from certain inputs, from certain actions. You're doing things all of the time, right? And are those in alignment with your vision and with your priorities? And so sometimes I'll see people, they're just going, doing. And the reality is that compelling vision in place? Are the actions in alignment with the priorities for that vision? And so you've given yourself some space, some calm, some room, and then you're allowing yourself to put action into the vision. And this is where you get yourself into creating from alignment and not anxiety. You are not responsible for other people in this visioning process, meaning you control your controllables. You actually may be responsible for other people, you know, parent life, right? So, but I just, in this visioning process, if you're letting it be run by your roles and responsibilities, you likely won't have as much of the space. But very much your roles and responsibilities, Lord willing, are a part of your vision because it's a part of your life, right? So, a reminder here, do not get caught up on the whole vision. For some people, it may feel helpful to get some time definition place. If you're like, I want to chunk this down to next year. If you like to keep it a bit more open-ended, knowing like the next stage, the next phase, you're headed in XYZ direction. But eventually, from this process, you're getting a few clear steps. And this may not be the time that you do all of them, right? You take the one next step, you do a step every day. One thing I find with procrastination is if procrastination is happening, it likely may be that there is not a clear next step. It may be a project or a larger container. And then when you break it down as small as possible, then there's the next step. But it may feel bigger than that when there's procrastination happening. There's other reasons procrastination can be happening, but that's one that I often see is the next step isn't clear. It's actually, your next step is written where it's a project instead of a step, and there's 40 steps in that next step that's actually a project, and then you can break it down as simple as possible and allow yourself to then have the next step. This time more than ever, this practice we did is a lot about reinforcing clarity and calm. But one thing I hope you take away for today is this is not the time to force clarity, right? We're a few weeks out from the winter solstice. If you're again in the northern hemisphere, this is this 0 point energy. It's like, how quiet can you get right now? How much room can you get right now? If you find yourself in high stimulation environments, what does it feel like to create some space and calm and ease in those high stimulation environments? I'm thinking about often stimulation number one, the phone, right? What does it feel like right now? If you imagine on the winter solstice, your phone time at zero for a few days, and we're a few weeks out of zero, and coming off of that, we're a few weeks off of zero, right? What would it feel like? And again, you may not be at all close to zero phone time. It may not even be possible. It's just an example where illustrating this 0 point moment and creating as much space and as much quiet that you can. And so, beyond anything right now, with the clarity, this counterintuitive where you want the action, you want the steps, you want the momentum, right? Part of that wiring and that stimulation. But can this be a season of listening, receiving, integrating, and preparing? And letting this season that we're moving into winter be a time of your deeper vision forming. And for that to happen, it's creating as much space as possible. And in that space, if you're a person that has a trouble with space, it's like you're meeting your future self in this space. That free future version of you, they're looking for you. They want to meet you. They want to hang. They want to show you what's happening. And you have a lot of clues. So your next chapter is forming, and space is very much a part of this in being able to hear that. So, with that, I hope you found whatever you needed today. Please like, share, subscribe. If there's any comments, something you love, drop it in the comments. I love to hear. And if you need support in creating more space, I have the 22-day reset available for you at lilalife.co. And this is an opportunity for you to recalibrate your four primary resources: time, energy, attention, and money. You can enter the new year feeling more grounded, more clear with that space. And so feel free to drop into the show notes. I am sending you many blessings wherever you are. If you had a past 8, 10 days like mine, you may have had some ups, downs, and hiccups and all the things. And I am sending you absolutely so much love in whatever you're navigating right now. And again, an invitation. What does it feel like to bring in some of this grounding, some of this clarity, some of this ease to your system during a time that may actually feel very chaotic to you? I don't know. Let's experiment. Let's see. Wishing you many blessings, and I will see you next week on the Leela Life Show. I'm Linda Andrews signing off.